Super Mario Brothers movie.
It's finally here.
Yep.
Been 35 years.
And we finally got a decent one.
Yeah, that's true.
How many versions have there been? I mean, of like Mario movie, have they ever attempted?
I think that this is just the second one in terms of theatrical films.
Yeah.
You had the first go in '93 with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. It was fantastic.
That was amazing. I love that movie.
Do you remember when that movie came out? It was like right around the time, I think Super Nintendo, it either just came out or the Super Scope 6 was coming out, I think.
Oh my God,
but,
the Super Scope.
But at the very end of the movie, like Koopa has like a spray painted
Super
Scope that he uses.
The soft cell.
Yeah. Fucking Dennis Hopper.
Good times. But we're not talking about that one today.
Unfortunately.
Yes, we are talking about the brand new Super Mario Brothers movie.
Like the John Wick 4 review, this one's going to be audio only. We are in the middle of building a new set.
Yep.
So until then, we're just going to have some of these audio reviews.
New set coming soon, so stay tuned. I mean, the plot was pretty simple. It wasn't that complicated. It was a very childish movie in a lot of ways. The story, you get Mario and Luigi living in Brooklyn, a couple of failures, trying to be plumbers, going out on their own, and they're getting no traction. They suck. Their family thinks they're a joke. And then very quickly, they get sucked into the Mushroom Kingdom world and they get separated. So Mario goes one way, Luigi goes another way, and then Mario is just trying to find his brother the whole movie and meets up with Toad, and then Toad takes him to see Princess Peach, and then he gets involved in the whole Bowser trying to take over this whole world and marry Peach. But he just wants to find his brother. It's pretty much the majority of the plot. 100% geared towards kids, even though there were a lot of throwbacks for the adults taking their kids to see this movie.
Yeah, but there was no adult innuendo jokes.
Yeah,
like when you go take your kid to the Lego movie, there's some like little winks and nods to mom and dad watching
fun
it.
For the parents who got to sit through that. I remember going to see that and there were people around me with their kids and the kids were just staring at the screen and the parents were losing their minds laughing.
Yeah.
Some of the jokes in that movie. This wasn't like that at all.
The Lego movie is made for kids with ADHD because it is all over the place. This one didn't feel like that. It was a very quick-paced movie, which I did appreciate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it didn't feel like, holy shit, stop assaulting my senses.
It was just over, I think it was like 95 minutes or something. It wasn't that long.
Which is fantastic.
Which is great, because a movie like that doesn't need to be 2 hours, then it feels like a punishment.
No, there's really no bloat in this. It does have a good pace.
Very streamlined.
It was very straightforward. There were some things that I kind of appreciated. I liked how they sort of stumbled upon the tunnel system, the magic tunnel system, and there was no explanation for it, which I thought was great.
Yeah, they just got right into it, and it's like, okay, here's this underground tunnel. We just get sucked in.
It's one of those things that's like left open-ended, and it creates speculation for Mario lore or whatever later on.
They didn't really go into much lore at all.
Yeah.
They just kind of put you right in the middle of a situation, and it's just, this is the world, this is how it is.
Yeah.
From when he first gets to Mushroom Kingdom, and then he's going through all the pipes, and then goes to see Peach, and then Peach sets him up with that obstacle course, and then they go see Donkey Kong. Like, all these things are just happening, but you're not really getting any background to any of it, and you kind of don't need it, because you kind of know already. If you've ever played a Mario game, you know what all this stuff is from and where it's gonna go.
Yeah, they have some like little gags here and there in the film in the background that are like the game mechanics or game gags, whatever. They're kind of relegated to being like little side gags, which I was kind of annoyed with. I wish those things were implemented a little bit more to be actual...
into the plot.
Yeah, plot devices instead of just like little
I agree. There were so many little, like you said, not gags, but like maybe throwbacks to older games where if you haven't played like Super Mario 2, you'd miss that there's a bunch of enemies from that game just bouncing around the movie, but they're kind of just in the background.
Yeah.
They never really feature as an integral part of the plot or anything. And not like they need to, but I appreciated them being there instead of them not being there. There was enough throwback stuff for me in the movie that I was happy with all of that.
Yeah, it was cool. I just wish it was less Easter egg-ish.
Yeah, it felt a little too Easter egg-ish.
Yeah, but it was still, like you said, it was great that it was in there at least.
Right. So now you got the Mario Brothers in the Mushroom Kingdom. They're clearly humans, and no one else in this world is, with the exception of
Princess Peach,
which they point out. And they get separated really early in the film. And Luigi, he ends up in Bowser's domain and gets captured pretty quickly, and then he's just relegated to a cage for like 75% of this movie.
The Luigi aspect is definitely the weakest part of the film.
Yes, they don't really give him much at all.
He doesn't do shit really until the end, and honestly, if they just kept him with Mario the whole time, it would not have changed the dynamic of the film at all.
Oh, I mean, it gave Mario his motive to find his brother, but their motive could have just been like, we gotta go home. How do we get out of here?
Exactly.
Show us how to get out of here. That could have been the motive, and then they could have been together and actually played off each other a little more.
Yeah.
Because once Luigi's away, and I did like the little subtle references to the Luigi's Mansion stuff. It was fun seeing that stuff. But then once he's gone, then we're just with Mario trying to find his brother, and that's when he meets Toad. And Toad, you said you were fine with Toad. I thought Toad was annoying as fuck.
Do not touch that mushroom, you'll die! Oh, I'm sorry. That one's perfectly fine.
But I mean, it's
no, he was annoying, but he wasn't like Jar Jar Binks.
No.
Yeah.
No. Maybe annoying is a strong word, but every time he spoke, I was like, shut up. I just didn't care what he had to say. And he immediately decides to just help Mario, like, oh, you're looking for your brother? Oh, the princess will know where he is. Come, follow me, I'll help you. And then he just joins the fight, like, okay. I'm not looking for super deep character motivations here, but it was kind of funny how there was no motivation for him. He was just there to help. And then he takes him to go see Princess Peach. And now this is where we get into our biggest issue with this film.
Princess Peach, girl boss herself.
Princess Peach, Princess Mary Sue.
Yes, with their smug-looking face.
They, of course, made her perfect in every regard, whether it's intellect, fighting, just basically everything.
But also she's a badass. She can really hold her own in a fight.
Yeah, there's that scene in the film where Mario is learning basically how to Mario. He's learning how to jump, he's learning how to
Which
hit
was a great
boxes,
sequence.
all that stuff. They turn it into a training montage, and it's funny and all that.
Yeah.
She does it herself.
Yeah.
And of course, she's so superior at it. She just does the
Like
whole
it's
thing,
nothing.
no problem,
Yeah.
effortlessly. And at the very end of it, basically the conversation turned into, how long did this take you to learn how to do? And she's just like, oh, it took me a while. He's like, oh no, you did this perfectly the first time you did it.
Right.
She was
like, well, I grew up here.
She's like,
so,
yeah.
So, but you still did it on your first try. Who cares if you grew up here?
Of course.
You still have to train to do hard things, whether you grew up there or not. So, yeah, of course, they just had to work that in. But her being like that, the whole film, kind of made Mario pointless in a lot of ways.
It did,
in terms of his help.
Once he gets there, it turns into Princess Peach's movie.
Yes, 100%.
He just takes a back seat pretty much.
He takes a back seat and he's just along for the ride, and she's like, oh, you're like another human. You can prove yourself to me. You can come with me.
He's along for the ride, and he just is sort of relegated to a goofy sidekick.
And the times where he does have his moments and shine, they're moments that Peach could have handled if she was in the situation. So they decide to go to Donkey Kong's kingdom, and they talk to Cranky Kong to get his army to help them fight Bowser. And Mario kind of oversteps his bounds and speaks up, like, you're gonna give us your army because I gotta find my brother. And he's like, well, if you can fight my son and beat my son, you can have the army. And then he gets his ass kicked by Donkey Kong. By the skin of his teeth, he manages to get a power-up that helps him win that fight. But just thinking about if Peach was in that situation and he wasn't even there, and Cranky Kong was like, oh, you have to fight my son, she would have kicked his ass in 2 seconds, considering her skill level.
Yes.
So Mario wasn't even necessary for that.
Yeah.
He just got thrust into that situation because he ran his mouth. And then and then they just go right into like the Mario Kart thing. And Mario, of course, him and Donkey Kong fall off the Rainbow Road and land in the ocean. And of course, Peach, kicking ass, no problem there. She gets back to the kingdom, evacuates the kingdom. You know, everything she did, she was just good at, or she was successful at. Even when eventually Bowser comes and takes her, he's like, oh, if you don't marry me, I'll kill everyone in your kingdom. And she's like, okay. But then when the marriage is actually happening, she has a whole plan. Like, she gets the ice power, she freezes Bowser, she stops his minions, she stops Luigi from dying. It's like,
she's playing 4D chess the whole time.
Right, she was playing 4D chess. Exactly. So she was never in any kind of peril where she couldn't get herself out of it.
No.
And even leading right up to the end when they come back into our world, into Brooklyn, which I did like that it kind of pulled them out into that world.
Yeah, I like that too. I thought that was cool.
And then, you know, like, it's all leading to them getting that star power up.
Yeah.
Where Mario and Luigi together get the star power up and fight Bowser. which basically they're just invincible, so they could kick anybody's
That's what I'm
ass
saying.
now. But
There was really no payoff to Mario learning all of those skills and being able to just do it without the star, basically. They had to get the star
they had
at
to get
the
the
end.
star to kick Bowser's ass.
They had to get the star at the end to be at Princess Peach's level.
Yeah, right? Now, if they hadn't been there, Peach would have grabbed that star, and
The universe would have inverted itself because of how powerful she would have been.
so, yeah, I'm not saying she should have been the damsel in distress the whole time, you know, not like her actual role in the game. But there could have been a little more give and take with things she was good at and things Mario was good at, because they're partnered up together the whole movie.
Yeah.
So she could have been good at certain things, Mario could have been good at certain things.
They tried setting something up. They set up the fact that, oh, you don't give up. Like he gets hit and then he keeps getting
Yeah,
up.
of course,
He gets hit,
yes,
he
he's
keeps getting
got
up.
good willpower.
Yes, that's what it is.
He doesn't
though.
give up.
That's
That's
what
his superpower.
That's what he kind of gives to the partnership.
Yeah.
Is that he just doesn't quit. She does all of the physical fighting. She gets to express her physical prowess.
Right.
But he gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, I love how she points out when she first meets him how short he is.
Yeah, of
And
course.
it's like, okay, well, what is this? She's getting ready to make her Tinder profile. No men under 6 feet.
Exactly.
That kind of
Mario
thing.
should have been like, I will tell you if you tell me how much you weigh.
Exactly. How much you weigh?
In terms of voice casting, yeah, like there's the controversy with Chris Pratt. It was fine.
Chris Pratt was good.
I can't believe it. I am Mario.
It was like there was like this sort of stereotypical Italian thing that they would do. They had a commercial for their plumbing business, which was amazing.
That was great. The movie opened with that.
Yeah, and it was so well done.
Brooklyn,
it was hilarious, very lo-fi, public access looking.
Yeah.
They did a great job with that. But
Yeah.
in that, they sort of do caricatures of what you hear in the video game accents, sort of.
right.
But then they just kind of talk like normal people.
Right, right.
Let's go.
There's moments when Charlie Day, who did Luigi, where he really leaned heavily into that over-the-top Italian accent, but then other times it kind of pulled it back a little bit.
Yeah.
And who gives a shit? Like, they're two white guys playing fake Italian video game plumbers from a Japanese video game.
Yeah, my whole thing with Chris Pratt was when they announced him, it wasn't, oh, he's not Italian. Who fucking cares? It was just more like, oh, man, Chris Pratt again?
Yeah, right.
Shit.
He's just all over everything.
But honestly, he was fine.
He was fine,
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't even pay attention. It was okay. You know,
Right,
there was nothing,
right.
there was no issue.
Yeah, then you get the anointed John Leguizamo losing his mind that the roles were not given to Hispanic actors or Latino actors.
Which is weird because they're Italian.
They're Italian, they're not Colombian like he is, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Like, you played Luigi in the original movie. Bob Hoskins is a British dude. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
If they're right for the role, good, give it to them. So, that whole bullshit with him boycotting the movie, good luck with that. It's the #1 movie in the world right now.
Yeah.
So, good luck.
And then Jack Black was great. Like,
Well, he's always good.
yeah, that's like really good casting though. It's a good idea to have him in it. That being said though,
The song.
well, there's some Tenacious D
Little-
shit in that movie
right?
where
When he just keeps saying peaches, peaches.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was watching a Tenacious D music video
yes.
for a second. It's like, do we really need this?
Yeah,
Because
well-
otherwise his character is so thinly motivated.
He's just the bad guy.
He's just the bad guy.
Which
But
is
I mean,
fine.
it's Bowser. It's
Yeah.
a Super Mario game.
But that being said though, Bowser's main motivation is to get married. That's like what he wants to do.
He wants to settle
He's
down.
like so excited about getting married.
Yeah.
He loves Peach, he's really into Peach, but it's not just that he's into her, he wants a wedding.
Yeah, a full-on wedding with
They
her.
turn Bowser into like a fucking bitch, dude. It's so bizarre.
But, you know, overall, I did appreciate a lot of the little things. Like in the beginning when he's got a little NES in his room and he's playing Kid Icarus.
That was cool.
And he's got the little poster on the wall of, what's his name, from Punch-Out?
Yeah, oh god, what is that guy's name? It was a Punch-Out character.
Yeah,
though.
it was a Punch-Out character.
Yeah.
He had him on his wall. It was just little things like that. They definitely paid homage really well to all the games in terms of just characters and visuals. There's so much crammed into the movie. I kind of want to see it again just to see what I missed.
Yeah, and visually they nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They didn't take licensing with things. There was no Sonic the Hedgehog V1.
Meow?
You know, before they had to go back
Yeah.
and like fix it. There was none of that shit. Like it was all so faithful to the source material.
Yes. The only thing that kind of stuck out because they were so faithful to the source material was the weird collection of 80s and 90s songs. There's so much good music in the original games, and there's a lot of remixes of those songs in this movie, but they still had to add in like, oh, here's some AC/DC, here's Take On Me.
Yeah.
I was like, why is this? It's just weird.
That kind of goes back to what I was saying about using things from the video games as little Easter eggs. Instead of using the score from the game, they could have like revamped that and like done some cool stuff with it.
Cool orchestration.
Instead, like Bowser's playing the level 2 do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yes.
He just plays that on the piano real quick.
Yeah.
And it's like that, well, that could have been like a good cue in the movie.
Yeah.
You could have done something awesome with
Right.
that.
Yeah, they took moments like that and just turned them into little.
Yeah, imagine
little
taking that,
throwaway
like fully
moments.
orchestrating that, like adding a choir into it, whatever. You could have just done some
right.
cool shit.
Yeah.
But in this, they were just like, it's just like, yeah, we'll have it, but it'll be a little piano thing, a little Easter egg thing.
Yeah.
A little disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I'm saying. But that's, again, borderline nitpick territory, whatever.
Yeah. It's still cool that they found a way to work it in.
Yes.
There's a lot of things there that they worked in fun little ways, because they're just not that integral to the plot, but people like us will appreciate that because we grew up with the games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's worth taking your kids to see it.
Absolutely,
There's nothing
yeah.
in it that I would say messaging, whatever, that your kids got to run away from or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
It's pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good kids movie.
Yeah, definitely more geared towards kids, and the only thing the adults are going to get out of it are the nostalgia throwback bits.
Yeah.
Not too much humor in it for the parents. Overall, rating-wise, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. You know, the Peach thing was a big thing.
No, I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
Okay,
And like
yeah.
that's what it really, for me, it was the Peach thing.
Yeah. And I guess Peach and the story itself was a little thin in terms of Mario being the only character that kind of had some motivations, where not only just finding his brother, but also being seen as a loser in the eyes of his dad and you know, his family, his colleagues and stuff. And then at the end, being able to prove himself that him and his brother are actually good at what they do, even though they were invincible. All they did was grab an invincible star, which a lot of that, the payoff was cheapened.
Well, the setup and the payoff were both weak. The main problems, again, were Princess Peach. Fuck her, she was super annoying. And the second thing was the Luigi thing. He was just so sidelined, and it was annoying.
On the Rainbow Road scale, we didn't have much outside Peach, so I'd say, I don't know, for me it was a 2 out of 5, I think. I went a little higher. I mean, Peach by herself could have just been 1, but because it's just all over the entire film, I was like...
No, I'm gonna give it a 2.5, actually.
Okay,
Like,
all right.
She was so fucking annoying that it was just like half the rainbows on the scale.
Yeah.
It got in the way of things. Again, it was her movie. It wasn't even Mario's movie anymore. It was, once he got there, he was just there to like service her, basically. But overall, I still recommend it. I recommend taking your kids.
Absolutely,
It's not boring, you know?
No. It is not boring at all. It's fun. Kids will love it, and any adult who grew up playing the games will love it too.
Wahoo!